90% of the time, when I tell people I played Tetris, they're like a little intrigued and confused. Like, oh, you played Tetris? And it's not in a mean way. It's a game from the 80s that's faded into obscurity. Or has it? Y'all know what Tetris is, okay? You got a board and you got these pieces and they fall from the top of it, and when you do a row, they clear the line. And then when you use the line piece and you clear all four at one time, that's called a Tetris. When you clear lines, you get points. And when you get points, you level up. And when you level up, the pieces fall faster. And that makes the game harder because you're trying not to get to the top of the board, because when you get to the top of the board, you lose. That's called topping out. And that's Tetris. That's basically like the key things you need to know about Tetris. Now you know what Tetris is, in case you didn't already. But do you know where it came from? In 1984, there was this Russian guy named Alexei Pajitnov?
Pajitnov.
So in 1984, there was this Russian guy named Alexei. Yeah, 1984. There was this Russian guy called Alexei Pajitnov, and he had this idea of blocks falling from the top of his glass, like his where did my tea go? And so then he coded it, and it made it a game that's Tetris, and it really hasn't changed very much, and it was so addicting that it caused like 3 or 4 different companies to get into like a war, that someone made like a 47-minute long video essay about. Like it was that complex of a deal about who would get to own this game. And ultimately Nintendo won, and But Sega had it for a while, and we're gonna actually talk about a Sega version of the game later. But from right now, but wait, doesn't Nintendo own Sega now? Right? No? Everyone was fighting for it, and I know Sega like had it for a bit, but then like Nintendo like got it. Like it's Nintendo's thing now. So when Nintendo was about to release their new gaming console, the NES, the Tetris people convinced them to add a free copy of Tetris instead of Mario. And they did this because, according to the marketing people, Mario would only sell to boys, but Tetris is for everyone. The version of Tetris that they released for the NES is freaking hard. It's called Classic Tetris, and basically the pieces like lock immediately when you play. The probability is just like normal probability, so you can have a situation where you get 3 S pieces in a row, or you can go 53 pieces without ever getting an I piece. 53 pieces! The whole point of Classic Tetris is to get Tetris, and you can only get a Tetris with this piece. Horrible. And then once you get to level 15, it's so fast that people had to invent new ways of holding the controllers called hyper tapping, and then the brand new, thank you, like Kersey 2020, the brand new technique of rolling, so you can actually play, because it's so fast that you can't do it without it. The pros are literally inputting a direction of a piece before it comes onto the screen, because that's how fast it's going. We call this version Classic Tetris, and it's still very popular today. People fly from all around the world to go to the Classic Tetris World Championships every year. It's really cool, and you can stream it like on Twitch too when it comes up. I don't know when it is this year, but it's really fun and like satisfying at the very least, because they're very good at Tetris. You might be wondering why this version of Tetris looks the way that it does. Like it doesn't look like these ones, and you might know Tetris better from the way that these guys look, and that's because there's more to the story. So in 1995, the rights to Tetris expired, and so Alexei and this Dutch-American guy got together to kind of reinvent the game, make a new company to make Tetris a little bit more accessible. They made a bunch of new rules for what Tetris was going to be now, and they made a new company called Tetris Holding. And in 1999, they released a game called The New Tetris that was about to change everything. They added a hold function, which allows you to temporarily send a piece to jail and then swap it back out when you want it later. You can see up to 6 pieces ahead of time. You can hard drop. There's a ghost piece now. They also fixed the probability system, so it's not shitty anymore. They also changed the rotation system, which is really complicated and I don't fully understand, but it means that you can do cool shit like this, and this, and this. How do they even do that? That's so fucking cool. Following this Tetris game, all new Tetris games had to match the guidelines of what this Tetris is, making it known as Guideline Tetris. I also refer to it as Modern Tetris, so Guideline or Modern Tetris are interchangeable. This is the version of Tetris that I play. I don't play Classic Tetris because it's not as fun. This really changed the game. Tetris stopped being about accuracy and started being a lot more about speed, and it also changed the goal of the game a little bit. So instead of how many Tetrises you could get, it started being about how many lines can you clear in the shortest amount of time. A lot of people say that Modern Tetris is too easy and that it takes away the skills that made Tetris hard and therefore fun. And sure, some of the more technical aspects are simplified, but that doesn't make it easy either. Where Classic Tetris has hyper tapping and rolling, Modern Tetris has all clear setups and crazy ass spins like I showed before. Like, look at this. This is fucking crazy, right? This is insane. I just learned how to do double T spins, and that's the easiest spin to do. And I've been playing for 6 years. Both versions are hard. They're hard in their own ways because they're different games. You can't really claim that any one version of Tetris is harder than another. Except for this one. That's definitely the hardest. During my research and writing of this episode, my friend Danny looked it over for me, and she recommended that I check out this community called Tetris the Grandmaster, which is something that I'd never heard of before. And holy fucking shit, these guys are on a whole nother level. They start at speeds that make me want to cry. In this game, everyone's trying to get to the rank of the Grandmaster, but to do that, you have to basically be a god? At some of the fastest speeds, the pieces are spawning in as low as it can, and they only have 15 frames to be able to move and rotate it before it locks. 15 frames! On an arcade machine! And that's before it goes invisible? They have to get 4 Tetrises without being able to see their board. Like, really think about that for a second. Only 6 people have ever gotten to the rank of Grandmaster. And the game has been out since 1998. To compare Tetris the Grandmaster to Classic or Modern Tetris would be impossible. They are really different games, despite them all being Tetris. Tetris is the 3rd best-selling game of all time, and it's the 2nd best-selling franchise of all time. With franchises, it's 2nd to Mario, and Pokemon is 3rd. Tetris is doing better than Pokemon. The discovery of new techniques, as well as continued releases of new versions of the game, keeps the community fresh, and it solidifies the idea that Tetris is not something to be relegated to the past. What I'm getting at here is that this 40-year-old block game has remained in the public consciousness more than any other puzzle game from its era. From classrooms with bored kids all the way up to esports stages. From VR in your living room to online multiplayer that brings people together. From every console, old to new, whether it's Classic, Guideline, Grandmaster, or Puyo Puyo, it's all Tetris. And it's for everyone. Thanks for watching. Fuck Tetris on mobile. It's like a mix between crazy easy and then like so annoying because you move your finger wrong once